Hi everybody, Eric here from the Right Click Save project, and welcome back to Reading the F and Docs, where we are learning Solidity together by going through the documentation. Now, today we are installing the Solidity compiler. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't feel like going through all these sections here. That's it. There's no way to explain it. I don't see the value in doing the same thing on 3 different operating systems. And the point of these walkthroughs are to help us learn the Solidity language. And it even says here in the documentation that we recommend Remix for small contracts and for quickly learning Solidity. And that's what we're doing here. So the compiler is important to understand how to work, and I will go over a few ways to install it. And there's a later section where we go in depth on how to, the power of the compiler and the things you can do with it. So let's number one, let's talk about Remix. This has a compiler built in, so this is our simple storage contract that we got from the first video, from the beginning of the documentation. And this has a compiler handy. You can just put a contract in here, you can compile it, and if we put a let's put an error where it shouldn't compile. Now let's compile it again. It'll tell you what your errors are. And Remix is a great tool, and I definitely, most of the work that I'm going to be doing throughout these videos is going to be using Remix. So to follow along, this is really probably all going to be all you need. And I suggest you get familiar with it. This is perfect for just that. Small proofs of concept contracts and little things. And as you get further down your journey, you're building larger projects, you might be using more full-fledged environments like Hardhat or Truffle, and that's going to have the compilation set up for you. So that's all we're going to do there. And next up is, I'm using a Linux machine, so we're going to go over this part. I already went ahead and ran these commands. If you're familiar with Linux, you're familiar with apt-get. If you're using a Mac, there's brew. I'm sure there's something here for Windows environments. There's Docker, npm. The node version's a little different. We're not touching that right now, but we're going to do Linux. So I already went ahead and did all this. And we can see here, I have a folder where I downloaded it. And we can see here that Solc is already implemented because it's right there giving me a version number. So now I'm going to open this folder in VS Code. So I went ahead and opened a window, and it's the same contract, the same folder, and we can just do this via command line as well if you have Solidity installed. So all we have to do is write Solc and then the name of the contract. Successful, no output generated. We can write a flag here called --bin. This will just return the binary. Now let's get a typo in here and run this again. This should give it, and these are your errors. So as you compile and you're getting errors, it'll tell you. Now let's undo our typo, save it again, run this again, and it should compile normally. And this is just a taste of the things you can do with the compiler. Again, further down the documentation, there's a whole section on what you can do with the compiler, and it is good to be familiar with this. And we have enough to get us started. We have Remix. You're able to download it to your computer and use the command line. If you can do that, we're going to be ready to go through the rest of these videos. And like I said before, I just don't see the need to go through all of these. And that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful. My name is Eric, and I work for CryptoPunks. See you in the next one.